everyone, and welcome back to the Two Mom Life podcast. I'm thrilled to be here with you today. And as you know, I don't take your time lightly. So thanks for choosing to spend it here with Leah and I today. We are going to address a really intimate topic. We're gonna be talking about intimacy and creating intimacy as a busy mother, increasing your desire for intimacy as a busy mother. And this is a topic that speaks to many of us and is not talked about all that much in the Frum Jewish world. So I'm really excited to be having this conversation with Leah today. Leah, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? And thanks for being here with me.
Thank you so much for having me here and giving me this opportunity to talk about my passion and just to spread more awareness and make it so much more a fun topic to talk about. I just love it. I'm so excited. Thank you so much. So my name is Leah Peleg. I'm in Yerushalayim. I work internationally as a relationship and intimacy coach. Not just a coach, but I include different emotional therapies to help release what we're really holding on to. So what I do is about it. What I stand for is empowering women into intimacy. I'm on a mission to save marriages, starting with and working really with women accessing their purest feminine potential, just to create happy homes and intimate lives. So that's what I do, and I just love it.
Yeah, beautiful. And when you said the phrase "save," I'm on a mission to save marriages. What's there is that there's two aspects of saving marriages. One is this aspect of like literally saving it from divorce, right? Helping the couple, helping, one of the partners to really, see things in a different light, or just help them learn the tools to really make that marriage successful. And that the other aspect of that, I think, is empowering the couple to be happy in their marriage, because there are plenty of people out there who are in marriages but are not fulfilled by the connection and by the intimacy that each partner brings. And so I think that is really a beautiful, beautiful thing.
Totally. Like a lot of people just, like you say, they just hold it all in and think this is what marriage is about. But marriage doesn't have to be what we think it's gonna have to be, like struggles and frustration and arguments and resentment. It doesn't. When we get the right tools, it can be like that dream wedding or that dream marriage where it's happy, you're laughing, you're joking, you're having a great time, you feel fulfilled almost at every single moment. And as a woman, we feel adored and loved and like the most important person in the world to our husband. Like, it is possible. Like, I know because I've transformed my marriage, so I can stay here and say like, it's a success.
You're on the other side. Yeah, so tell us about that. Tell us about your transformation and a little bit about your journey and what brought you here.
Well, so I guess my journey started really when I grew up as a girl. Like, I really didn't understand what it was to be a woman. I definitely don't come from a home where there's marriage is a success, I would say. There was always the stigma of like kind of divorce going on. So I always said I was never going to get married because there's always going to be a divorce. And I never really know what it would be to be a woman. Like, the whole thing about sexuality, intimacy, like it was just a mess, just a complete mess, And I suffered. I really, through suppressing and not coming into my true connection, I created endometriosis, like, bless you.
Thank you.
So
endometriosis, you said?
Yeah. And it was a turning point, and I was like, I have to go and search, what does it mean to be a woman? What does it mean to be feminine? What does intimacy really mean? Like, being with a boyfriend at the time and then arguing and bickering and yearning, but then like it's just, so anyway, I went on a long journey of trying to find out, who am I? What is it to be a woman? And then I got married, and I was like, I've done all of this personal growth and I felt so feminine and confident and self-empowered, but then I got married, and that intensity I was like, I still don't have the tools for marriage. I don't have the tools to create connection at all times. And I realized that I was arguing and I didn't know how to express what I really wanted. I didn't know how to express what I needed, what I wanted. I was completely overwhelmed. I was stressed all the time. I was like one of those women that believed that to be the best wife, I would have to do everything. To be the best mother, I have to take on all of the responsibilities. So I was completely like that one that was carrying the whole world and responsibility on my shoulders.
You're a
I
martyr.
was so overwhelmed. Yeah, I was a commander as well. Like I was constantly like telling what to do, what not to do, what not to do. No, it has to be like, and my husband said to me one day, "What's going on?" And I was like, "You don't understand." And he's like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "I'm doing this and this and this and this and this." He's, "You don't have to do that." And I'm like, "Yes, I do." And then I was like, "Oh, hang on." And then I learned all these tools. I learned what I'm teaching now. And I really put it into place. And I changed, like, Baruch Hashem, bli ayin hara. We don't argue. We may have not disagree. I can't even say disagreements, but there are definitely moments of heightened tension. But they just kind of like disappear very quickly, and they're done in the most respectful way. And it's just laughter and happiness, and we understand we're communicating with each other, we're inspiring, we're connecting, even when we are having intense moments. So
that sounds beautiful. That sounds like a dream. I mean, how awesome. Was this transformation, was it all on you? Was it you learning the tools? Was there something that your husband went through simultaneously or did, or, you know? So
actually, I did all of, like, my husband, obviously, he's an aware person. And he also teaches men. So he is aware and he is doing his own thing. But I always remember saying to my husband, "We have to go to counseling." And he was like, "No, we're totally fine." And I'm like, "No, we're not." Okay. So I was like, okay, I can't change my husband. So all I can do is change myself, right? Like, so I literally worked solely on myself, and yeah, magic happened. Literally, it felt like magic happened. Like, it was hard because you're changing a lot of your default patterns. But it's not hard because what you're doing is you're really empowering yourself. So I was becoming happier. So it's not hard to make yourself happy, you know? And so I did, like, my husband for sure did work, but I did a lot of work myself. And then I can tell you this, if I'm not okay, the house is not okay. The whole thing in my house goes completely crazy. I can see that, like, everything can feel like magic, and I go through my own inner turmoil, then everything's like a whole balagan. I'm like, no one's changed, I've changed.
Yeah.
So it gave me that acknowledgement that I have the power to create.
Very nice, very nice. What are some of the most common challenges that you hear in regards to intimacy from your clients?
Yeah, great question. So first, intimacy is, it's there, it's always there, it's in us. It's an innate feeling, it's a natural desire. So intimacy just means connection, emotionally, physically, okay? And we all have that yearning to connect. Like, we always want to connect to people. So it's inside of us. Everybody has desire. Everyone has that desire to connect. What comes in front of us are those, like, clippers, those things, obstacles that come in front of us that stops us from connecting, stops us from having desire. So they can be things like stress, overwhelmed, anxiety, frustration, resentment. Then you've got the inside the bedroom. There are, like, pain, that is not pleasurable, that it's all about him. So it's nothing about me.
When you say it, you mean sex?
Yes, sex. Yeah. Okay. Physical intimacy. Intimacy. When we're talking about physical intimacy, it can be when there's, like, a lack of desire, would be because it can be painful, or that you're thinking it's solely about them, or that it is so it's painful. It could be not pleasurable. No one wants something that's not pleasurable. So it could be numbing. It could be you could have trauma. You could feel lack of confidence. So a lot of it is, and then the mindset of why those things can happen is because of stress, anxiety, being overwhelmed. As busy mums, I think the biggest thing a lot of clients say is, once I've had kids, it's changed. It was completely different. Now, we all know when we have children, what's changed? Our stress levels go up. We get overwhelmed quickly. We're trying to juggle everything. So all of those things, and like, yes, there's hormones, there's
physiology.
There's all the and medical issues and those forth, but we're talking more about the emotional side things. And obviously, if we don't trust our husbands, if we don't feel that he's capable, if we see have that negative mindset, they're all just layers that are stopping that natural tendency to have desire for intimacy and connection.
So let's talk more then about desire. What sparks the desire in us? How can we bring that desire back or make it stronger?
Sure. So desire is so what is desire? Desire is desire for something. It's so important for us to have desire in general in life. It's for striving for something. It acknowledges something deep within ourselves, right? So why is it important to have desire? Even if we talk in general scheme of things, why is it good for a woman to have desire? Why? Because for so long we put ourselves on a back burner, especially when we go into motherhood. We go okay, now my focus on my kids, right? So desire starts us thinking, no, I matter, I am important, my happiness matters. And when we start recognizing that, we start discovering more of ourselves. We're going, actually, I matter, my happiness is important. So that shows, and then when we start becoming happy and we start recognizing ourselves, it's very empowering, okay? And that obviously creates different emotions and hormones, and it's very attractive for our other partner when we become happy and radiating. But most of what I see is that we are acknowledging ourselves rather than putting ourselves on the back burner. We're saying we matter. So what can we do to ignite our desire would be to eliminate the things that are blocking it. So find ways, simple way would be to write a desire list, all the things that you desire. Okay, so that could be waking up every morning and saying, I desire coffee right now, or I desire to live, it doesn't have to be things that you have to grab hold of, because a lot of times we say, no, I'm not going to say my desire to live on a beach because it's not going to be realistic. But if you have that feeling inside of you, there's nothing wrong with saying it. The same thing. So it's getting in touch. The key is to get in touch with ourselves, get to know ourselves, get to feel our emotions, get to feel what we want and what we need. A lot of times we forget about ourselves. So simple things of getting in touch with our desires is literally asking ourselves, what is it that I want? What is it that I like? What makes me happy? What gives me pleasure, right? So start exploring yourself again and your wants and desires.
How important is it to incorporate our sexual desires in that list or in that frame of thinking?
Of course, definitely. A lot of women, I think I'm experienced, a lot of women don't really know what they enjoy, right? So again, it's learning what you enjoy physically, A
lot of women don't even know what's out there, what's possible.
Well, exactly. They really don't. The fact that you can experience different types of intensity of orgasms or different sensations in the body, they don't know anything. I've met a lot of people that have no idea, and some people that do have a lot of idea, a lot of knowledge. So really the desire to learn, to explore yourself, and to give yourself that permission is so important, and not to be ashamed.
Not to be ashamed, right? How do you recommend that women go about discovering what's out there and how to get in touch with what they really desire sexually?
So first, ask yourself, definitely ask yourself, right? You can definitely explore that with your husband, right? So you could definitely, or you can seek different tools. There are different tools to start exploring yourself, okay? But I definitely would say you can start asking yourself, what is it that you enjoy? Okay, start expressing what you enjoy. start asking or try different things with your partner. Does that answer the question?
Yeah. Yes, it does answer the question. I'm thinking maybe even more specifically, but
how to increase their sexual desire.
Yeah.
So first of all, again, sexual desire, we have to think about it like a woman, for her to have sexual desire, she needs to know that she feels safe and she feels secure in the relationship. So that is a huge thing. If a woman doesn't feel safe, she doesn't feel like her man is her man, then she needs to make sure that that is eliminated. Okay, so first it's not just about the physical aspect, because for women, they need security, they need trust, they need to feel protected. Okay, so it's about having that, and then when they have that, they're able to fully let go. Now, a lot of women may have it, they just somehow not see it. So first is identifying those, do I trust him? Okay, let's see where I can trust him. Where can I let go completely? It's about letting go. Okay, so it's a psychological thing for a woman to really embrace that desire. Okay,
yeah.
and then if she's feeling overwhelmed and stressed, okay, what can you do to yourself so that you can eliminate that stress, so that you can go into the bedroom? Sometimes I recommend to clients, literally take all your issues, open the cupboard, put it in and lock it up, and then open it tomorrow if you want to go back to your issues.
Yeah.
Or do a little bit of meditation and vagina breathing. Okay, put on some sexy music beforehand, give yourself a massage beforehand, like connect to yourself and come into your body, right? That is the key things too, in the moment before going into it. Also, talking to your husband, talking to him, say things that you would desire sexually, tell him what you enjoy. There's nothing more than going up to your husband and whispering in his ear, when you do this, it feels so good. That language only creates connection. It's only going to ignite that desire. A lot of times we can find that we get stuck into like routines of distance. Sometimes it just takes that, okay, I'm just going to be the one that just touches or just strokes gently or just creates that connection or just shares something sexual.
Yeah, and that can feel so vulnerable.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah. And I love what you're saying. Just push yourself that little bit, because the benefits of doing that and of strengthening that connection and increasing your desire for each other is probably unbelievable. Yeah,
it's totally, they say vulnerability is not a weakness, it's a courageousness. And I always say to my clients, what are you going to choose? What are you choosing? Are you choosing connection or not right now? Are you choosing intimacy or not? And it is scary, because you can reach out and nothing can be met. Okay.
Yeah.
But we have to go with the idea we're not going to with expectations. We're going because we want to go.
Yeah. Right? And so if you take this big vulnerable step and say something, express your desire to your husband, or, you're really putting yourself out there. What if it's not met? How do you say, coach yourself out of it and get ready to do that again and be vulnerable again in that way?
Yeah. So comes into it's a big scope, because we go to the core principle. Our husband wants to make us happy. Our husband wants to connect to us, right? I've never met a man that's like, no, I don't want my wife happy. Because when a man sees his wife unhappy, he feels like he failed. Okay, so he wants to see his wife happy. So when we express something and it doesn't get met, there's a sign that, for me, when I express and it's not met, there's a sign that I had a big expectation there. And it wasn't a pure desire, meaning he can fulfill if he wants to fulfill. And if it isn't met, I go back to that my husband wants to make me happy. He does want me to make me happy. And it might just be that I'm expecting him to do something there and then, and I can't control him, right? I don't have that control over my husband. I just stand by, he wants to make me happy. And if he can't do that right now, then I trust he can't do that right now.
Okay.
Right? And I always go back to, my husband's not out to hurt me. My husband is not doing, like, rejecting me. It's just, I don't understand, maybe right now. Also, there's other factors at play. There are factors of, like, have you disrespected him? Is there disrespect? Is there lack of appreciation going on in the marriage? So that is also at play. You know, if a husband is giving and giving and giving, and like I was totally there, I complained. And then if I come with this new thing of like, I would love this, but I was complaining at him 2 minutes ago, do you really think he's gonna be like, sure, have it? You know, like, you have to, it's a bigger picture going on here.
Yeah, so important that it's not just, you know, that there's more to it than just saying, hey, I want this, or hey, what, you know, this makes me feel good. Yeah. It's really taking into account the bigger picture and managing the various aspects of the relationship. And I think that idea that you mentioned about putting the worries, stuffing the worries in the closet just for, you know, a few hours and locking that door, that could be a really helpful tool for some people. I once read a book, it was a personal growth book, and the author, Tim Ferriss, he said that at one point he outsourced his worry. So he found a virtual assistant in the Philippines, and he said, hey, Monica, like, your job is to worry for me 4 hours a day, and then I'll know that my worries are taken care of. I just thought, like, what a novel idea.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's a great idea. Just take your worries and put them in the side, put your frustration, because that's what stops us from enjoying. Like, when you think about intimacy, like when physical intimacy, sex, when you think about it, if it's not enjoyable and you're kind of just like numb and you're not present, then you're not going to want to do it again. You're not going to be running to go connect. Okay, your soul wants to connect because there's something much more deep and profound that happens during intimacy, physical intimacy, right? But when it's boring, so to speak, or it's not pleasurable, you're not going to run to it. But what stops us from really experiencing the pleasure is because a lot of times we're stuck in the mind. As women, we get so stuck in this mind of all the things that we have to do and all of this and this and this and this, all the worries and the stress. And that takes us in the mind and not in the body. We can't feel anything when we're in the mind. So that's a great, go and put all your stuff and say, I'm going to come back to you, and then go into your body. Mm-hmm. Do some meditation, do some breathing, focus on that. Focus on what you're feeling, the subtleties between the two of you. Mm-hmm. Like, and it definitely, for a man massaging a woman just before intimacy, like if he just like rubs her back, like before sexual intimacy as a warm up, if you massage, I'm sure when I get massaged on my back, I'm just like, ooh, I instantly
you're relaxed. Yeah,
you relax, you come out of your mind. That's where we hold the stress. If they just like massage your back, you're like almost like goo in a sense, you know. Yeah. You're ready, you're open, you're vulnerable.
Yeah.
Space.
Yeah, what a great tool. So far I think we've covered two really practical tools that you can use. One, put everything away, stuff it away in that closet, come back to it later. Two, massage. Simply ask him to massage your back. Are there any other quick and easy tips that you would recommend to help get women in the mood?
Well, first, having the awareness. Like, I always give the analogy, when you go to the gym, it's like carrying 50 bricks to the gym, right? You really don't want to go.
You don't want to go.
But as soon as you get on the treadmill, you're like, oh my gosh, I could do this for like an hour, right? Well, okay, it's exactly the same as intimacy. Like, you might go there and have the mindset of like, oh no, I'm too tired, I'm this. But if generally what happens when you start getting aroused, that the hormones create more and more desire. So having that mindset, okay, maybe right now I don't, and also having the mindset that this is actually going to bring us closer. There's something magical that happens in intimacy that afterwards, all your like little problems kind of seem a little less. You're able to, because you're connected on the physical and the soul and this aspect, that things are a little bit lighter afterwards. You can manage things and the stress doesn't intensify. So having that awareness that is actually going to heal things. So, and also for her to do breathing. I recommend to all my clients to do a meditation and a breathing, like a connecting vagina breathing breath work to really connect to themselves. That's really powerful. Or another tool, put on some music and shake. Get in your body. It's really about getting into your body and just coming out of the mind.
Yeah.
It's powerful too.
Yeah, love that. Loosen up. What's the key to the breathing? Is it breathing in through your nose, out through your mouth? Is there something, really different that one should do? Is it simply, just taking deep breaths?
That taking deep breaths, focusing on your breath, again, is so vital. It's so powerful because it just takes you out of your mind. Okay. Yeah. So but the one that I specifically teach is more about coming in awareness to your vagina and that whole area, and squeezing, breathing, focusing on a lot of energy and so forth. It's just about creating more awareness to this area, your vagina, your reproductive system, like your sexual energy, and coming into contact with that, because so many women are disconnected from that area. And it's about really creating great, beautiful connection and no shame. It's about empowerment, and like all creativity sits there, and it's a birthplace. So it's about really connecting to that aspect. But breathing is great also.
Got it. Yeah, that makes so much sense. Well, Leah, this has been fantastic. I hope, guys, that this is just giving you a little bit of an awareness of what's out there and what you can be doing if intimacy is and desire is something that you'd like to strengthen in your relationship. And if you're kind of, unsure of what the possibilities are, I hope that this episode is giving you a little bit more of an idea of what's out there and what's possible. And Leah's been through that whole transformation. So it's really, really beautiful, Leah, to see you now, teaching what you yourself learned and went through. And I'm sure, you still utilize these tools on a regular basis, and seeing you, helping women now in that way is really, really, really beautiful. Tell us quickly about the gift that you have for our listeners.
Yes, so for the gift for the listeners, I would like to offer free access to my drive with some beautiful recordings of kind of all that we've talked about, how to gain ultimate intimacy and connection on the physical and the emotional aspect. And there's a lot of tools in there. So I'd like to offer to you to have access to this drive for a period of 20 days. So you can just listen to these recordings and you'll be able to access and talk to me if you have any questions.
Thank you so much. That is so generous. Before we close out, is there one last piece of advice that you have for everybody listening relating to intimacy or not?
Just one? There's so much.
Pick your favorite one or two.
Okay. I really stand for intimacy. You have to be happy. I did a big survey of how do you connect to your desire? And a lot of women said, being happy increases my desire. My sexuality happens, and I even see myself when I'm happy, I'm like flirty and playful and joyful, and my sexual energy has the space to come out. So my advice is tap into your happiness. Start making yourself happy, because as a mom, we put ourselves on the back burner, and your happiness will bring so much fruit to your life, your husband's life, your home life, your kids' life. So really tapping into your happiness and pleasure yourself every day. And that can be even just making lemon water. But really access, I know, but it is true. Access your pleasure every single day.
Yeah, it's like beyond your basic needs. Do one thing that's like beyond just the basics.
Yeah.
Love that. Well, thank you again for joining me. And guys, thanks for tuning in. Till next time.
Thank you so much.